Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the channel. I'm Irish Guy. I hope you can hear me. I am sitting in my truck at the moment. Beautiful day. Just had a very strange, disheartening, discouraging interaction. I was getting gas. Um, I, I'm still kind of just in shock, I guess. But I was at the gas pump when I first encountered this lady. I decided not to get gas. I got back in my car, in my truck. I was headed forward. The lady in front of me went to the right. She was at her gas pump. I was at my gas pump. She went, took a right, and there was another car coming through behind her, which I saw, and I obviously saw because I stopped. She came through, and I was kind of just creeping along, not like blowing through there, but just creeping along, waiting for her to go. And she honked her horn, and she looked over and she said, "Stop!" And I was like, "I am stopped." And I waved. I was like, "Calm down." I instantly felt remorse that if I had done something wrong, and I instantly felt sorry for her because she got so mad so quick. I already had deducted from that interaction that she was either on some sort of illegal or some sort of narcotic or something, illegal or not illegal, I guess it doesn't really matter, but and or on alcohol and or some sort of mental situation, because she started screaming at me, and all that I noticed in that entire situation was there was a young child in the passenger seat that she was screaming over to get to me, obviously. Now, I was dumbfounded, dumbstruck, whatever you call it. I was like, what? Calm down! Like, calm down. So she left. She went right out of the parking lot. I had to go right out of the parking lot too. She kept going straight. I made a U-turn and went back to the light because I had to go down the road. Well, I get a little further down the road and I look in my rearview mirror and I see this little car flying up on me. She ran the red light behind me and she screamed up behind me. Now, I brake checked her because I don't want anybody on my ass. I don't want anybody on my truck so close to me like that, coming up fast. So I hit the brakes, which made her go around me, which was perfect. I turned off, I took a right, and I got out. I'm not a road rager. I used to be, and I used to really get into it, and I used to really think, I had something to prove. But nowadays, everybody has an itchy trigger finger, and everybody has a bone to pick with everybody. There is no kindness in the world except for those who are deliberately and intentionally going out and spreading hope, love, kindness, loyalty, honor to friendships, through relationships and friendships and commitment and dependency on each other and family and friends, and we know who we can trust and we know who we can't. Well, this world is a thing that we seem to want to put our trust into, and we seem to let ourselves trust it. But really, interactions like this morning is a full blown example, if you will, a description of what is going on in the world today, with or without our trust in it. So I got to where I was going. I had to park my truck. I had an appointment. I had to get in there at a certain time. I couldn't sit in my truck. So because I got off the road and I went into a parking lot and I saw her keep going, and I felt like, okay, we're good. She's going to keep going. But I kind of knew in my heart of hearts that wasn't the case. I went in, I parked, I went in for my appointment. I had to go in. The windows at this place, you can't see through. When I got out of my appointment, about 20 minutes later, I came out and my truck, which I didn't take photos of. I guess I didn't really think of it until I talked to my wife, but they have footage of it anyways. But I came out and there was McDonald's all over my truck. I'm telling you, this lady ordered the biggest breakfast she could from McDonald's, and wasted it on my truck, on me, on whatever situation was ailing her or getting her all pumped up, because there was no care or reason for concern at Quick Trip at the gas station. I was stopped, she was going, I didn't see any problem with that. And if something else that happened before that, I didn't notice. I was going the speed limit on the highway when I was going there. I didn't take any exception or interest to anything on the road. I just was riding my own ride. And what's funny is I asked my daughter this morning, I said, well, should I take my truck or should I take the bike? I kind of want to ride the bike. She's like, no, take the truck. I'm like, okay. So just think, if I'd have been in the bike and something like that would have happened on the bike, and she would have came up on me like that and got real close to me on the motorcycle, different scenario. So I came out and I was immediately like, what the F? I said that. I was like, what the F? This is insane. What is going on, God? Why are people literally going out and spending $12 on a McDonald's breakfast and then putting it all on my truck? Like, don't spend that $12 on a breakfast and all that and do all that. Open the jelly packets and put them under my windshield wipers. Spread garbage all over the lot. She did all that, and as I'm picking this up and I'm flicking cheese off my truck and sausage and Egg McMuffin and grape jelly, it's getting all over. The pharmacist came out, Tony. Tony came out and said, hey man, I'm really sorry. We're kind of looking at the cameras here, and yeah, she did a number on your car. Well, we're going to review the footage and we'll see if we can talk to the manager and get something over to the police. At the most, it'd probably be littering or something, I'm guessing. I don't know. She didn't do any vandalism to my truck. There is food on my truck, obviously, and she sprayed something on my truck. There's like a really sticky substance on my truck. I don't care, you guys. That lady I'm way more concerned with that lady, and I'm more concerned with how people are spiritually bankrupt. They're spiritually bankrupt. They're running in the negative in the spiritual sense, which means, you guys, there is a clear common denominator here. And if people are bankrupt in the spirit, they have nothing to live for. They're hopeless. They don't have hope. They're discouraged. They are deceived. There are middle of the roaders, middle of the pack kind of people who don't have a lot of faith, who don't have a lot of hope, but they do have hope that things can get better, but they just kind of ride the line. They don't ever put too much stock into either or. But then there's people who our cups are overflowing, and we're trying to let other people know that there is hope and there is reason for joy, for concern, for your own life, for your own well-being. God has you on this earth for a reason. He has planted you here at this time on this earth for one reason only, and that is the reason that you have to find out through God. I can't give that to you. No church is going to give that to you. No pastor is going to sit here and tell me what he thinks my goal in my life is and what I should be doing, this and that. We, as believers in God, have to go out and find our own journey. And in that journey, he's going to show us what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. And I tell you today, I stand here in the gap today for that lady. And I say to God today, I'm sorry for her, Father. I'm sorry that there are people out there so angry at other people for such small and minute things that they are willing to spend time, money, waste. And worst of all, the little kid that's in that car learning all this is going to take that into life and do that as well. So this young lady with the dreadlocks and the young child in the front seat, and all I can remember was just her screaming at me through the side of the car, over her child. And I'm thinking, I'm not in the nicest of neighborhoods. This is down in the cities. I don't live in the cities, in the heart of the cities. I live out of the cities. And that's, we don't really have that up here. So when I go down into the cities, I'm I'm not forced to do anything. I obviously love to be around people, but I'd rather be a good influence on people and not have people feel like I am here, as somebody that you can vandalize or treat like that. Because you know what, if you would have rolled down your window and talked to me like a normal person and told me, hey, I'm having a really bad day, I thought you were going to hit me, you came out of nowhere or something, I don't know, whatever the situation might be for her, I would be much more understanding to hear her plight and to hear her reasoning for why she's going through what she's going through. And you know what? I have nothing but compassion, whether she told me she explains it or not. I still have compassion for her because I know something's going on. There's an abuse of her, you know, like literally. There is literally something wrong with somebody who wants to do that. And so I myself used to be that angry of a person, and I used to spend a lot of time thinking how I could get somebody back or slashing a tire. I was a lot worse than throwing food on a truck. I mean, I did a lot worse. I threw a full gas can full of gas through somebody's picture window in their living room one time. This guy made me so mad that I drove to the gas station. I filled up a huge 5-gallon bucket gas can, filled it up. I rode back to his house, opened my trunk. I threw it through his window. I was probably 23, 24 years old at the time. Old enough to know better, but still spiritually bankrupt enough to know, or to think, rather, that there was no hope. And that if that was to catch fire, that whole house would have burnt down, my friends. The things that we think about now, I was not thinking about that. Heck no, I was thinking about the revenge, the anger, everything else was coursing through me. But now as an adult, I have to think about these things and just think about some of the things that some of these younger people are doing. She was obviously younger. She's probably in her early 20s. She had a very young child in the car, probably 3 or 4 years old, 5 years old. And I just remember that little kid looking up at me while she's screaming obscenities. And I honestly just like, what's going on? Like, I almost started laughing, like, what's going on? Like, calm down. Like, nothing happened, you know? And she was yelling at me. She was saying, stop. Man, I needed that little vent. I needed to tell you guys what's going on out here. And I've been so busy, you guys, working and trying to make a decent living now. And you know, I'm still not making a ton of money, but I have the opportunity to work as many hours as I want, doing what I want. And I have keys, I have cards, I have access to things. God's blessed me, you guys. But he's also kind of reprioritized my time a little bit too. So I got to try and figure out, you know, the best way of doing this YouTube thing. And, you know, it was a lot of work for a couple of years. And now I feel like we can still stay connected and still do the YouTube thing without me having to make a bunch of videos. But I did want to read something for you guys today, if I could please. And today is June 16th. And seek God early in the day before he gets crowded out by life's problems. I don't like that at all. Seek God early in the day before he gets crowded out by the life's problems, difficulties, or pleasures. Oh, okay, so they're talking about us. In that early quiet time, gain a calm, strong confidence in the goodness, in the purpose, amen, in the universe, or existence. Do not seek God only when the world's struggles prove too much and too many for you to bear or face alone. Seek God early. Seek God often. Because when you have a consciousness of God's Spirit in the world and in you, the Spirit of God is in you, there's no other way. There's no difficulties too much or too great in this life. Forgetting that is a huge problem, right? I lost my track here. So God's Spirit in the world. So people often only seek God when their difficulties are too great, or too often, or too much. But if they sought God's companionship before they needed it, many of the difficulties would never have arisen, right? Sorry, I jumbled that all up. There was a few things that I didn't really like in there, but that's what we do. We have to, you know, this recovery literature, it helps us. It helps us decipher what's important and what's not. So, you know, and life's difficulties wouldn't arise if we seek God often and early, right? That's what they're saying. I pray that I may not let God be crowded out by the early burly. This is an older book, sorry. I pray that I may not let God be crowded out by the hurly-burlies of life. Haven't heard that one before. I pray that I may seek God early and often, but I did, and I have heard that, and I have heard that often and early. The reward that we get after we've submitted, surrendered, given up, given in, let go, let God, however you phrase it. There's a process that happens, and some of us know, some of us don't. Some of us have been enlightened by God and have been shown, the veil has been lifted, so to speak. God's lifted our veil and He's shown us the truth. Some of us are on that path, but some of us are still being deceived. So we gotta rely on our relationship with God and what He's showing us, not in man. Do not rely on man. God bless you guys. Love y'all.